Hey, so it's impossible to talk about serial acquirers without having essentially a dedicated episode to Constellation Software. So I'm focusing on Constellation Software today because it comes up a lot in REQ Capital's research document. It's called a deep dive into acquisition-driven compounders. I'll put a link in the description. I don't think I've done that yet in previous videos, but I'll do that in this video. And please take a read for yourself. It's a fantastic document, amazing work by Oddbjorn and the crew over at REQ Capital. But Constellation Software, let's focus down on it. Okay, so there's so many things to get right if you want to be a successful serial acquirer. And the best serial acquirers that have been doing this for multiple decades, they develop this relationship with the brokers and the market of being a preferred buyer. Let me explain from a quote from the former director at Constellation Software in an interview back in, I think, 2022. I think this explains it really well. So if they find themselves in a competitive process, they generally won't win, right? This quote is referring to Constellation Software in the acquisition process. But unfortunately, a lot of the time, they can pick these off before getting into a competitive bidding process. And there was one instance at Constellation where I saw a company sell to Constellation. It was Devela, despite coming in at a lower price. And it was purely because they like Constellation Software. They knew Constellation were the company that knew all about vertical market software, and they wanted their company to go into that kind of safe house. So often what happens with the good serial acquirers like Constellation Software is they become the buyer's choice. And therefore, the highest price is not the only determining factor. It's willing to sell their life's work to somewhere that is going to look after the company and grow it further, and it's going to this safe house. And I think that's a really hidden competitive advantage that Constellation Software has. But this advantage was hard to build. It would have taken a lot of relationship building over many, many years, and it's a lot of long-term thinking. Now, the other value proposition that really works well with the target companies is the fact that the companies are run autonomously, which is massively important to those people, the founders of the company, because they've built a certain culture over the years. And they want to maintain that. They've built a certain brand over the years and they want to maintain that too. So instead of kind of getting lost in a SAP-like company or Oracle or an IBM or something like that, they maintain their characteristic, they maintain their brand, which, believe it or not, is massively important. Now, a few weeks ago, I put out a tweet about the valuation of Constellation Software as from an investor's point of view, and I've never been able to wrap my head around the high valuation, yet Constellation Software has always been a premium to what maybe a fair market multiple might be. So maybe I need to just get my head around this just being an amazing company, and that compounding for such a long period of time at high growth rates of 20% plus still leads to fantastic results in 10, 20 years' time. Now, I try my best to keep track of Constellation Software from a valuation point of view in my weekly newsletter called Yes Stocks, No Stocks. There's a link in the description for that. You can join if you wish, follow along. Hopefully soon I can adjust this Constellation number to become more attractive, but at the moment, I can't get there on valuation. You should definitely sign up and see how that potentially might change over time. Now, this graphic I actually keep as my wallpaper on my laptop because I think it highlights why Constellation has been so impressive as a stock. It's got a strong focus on people and culture, and that's a major part of Mark Leonard, the CEO, and the entire business and all the subsidiaries. It's all about the people and the culture. And I think of this graphic, every time I look at an investment now, I'm strongly on board with just the people and culture. If I can get on board with the people and culture at a business, it means I should investigate that further. In some businesses where I don't know the management team or I haven't read up on them, essentially I need to go and try and find out before I'm going to make an investment from now on. And if I do finally get my head around investing in Constellation Software, I would use Interactive Brokers. There's a link in description for that. That's the broker I use for all my investing and all my international stocks. Okay, the next episode is going to be the last episode on this REQ Capital summary series, and we're going to look at earnings per share growth and how important that is. Plus, we're going to go through some case studies and examples of companies that are not doing so well and doing well and why, and there's a lot to still cover. But take a read for yourself of the document, and I'm trying my best to highlight all the good stuff out of it, but yeah, there's so much detail in there, so please have a read for yourself. All right, I'll see you in that next episode.